Although frowned upon as not being very structured, it is possible for you to jump around within a sub-procedure from one point to another that is not a logical flow. In order to be able to do that, we need to make use of the GOTO statement and labels. So if we take an example here in a blank book and a blank module, we could create ourselves a little sub-procedure that does a GOTO test. So in our sub-procedure, let's declare a variable dim my answer as integer, and then we'll use a simple if statement to say if my answer equals 42, then go to, so it's a nice little command, go to, and then I need to give it a place to go to, and to tell it where to go, I give it a label. Now we haven't as yet got any labels within our sub-procedure, but for the moment I'm going to assume we already have a label that is called correct answer. And you can see that the VBA editor changes the title case around and blues the right bit. So I've got if my answer equals 42, then go to. We'll be looking in more depth at the if statement shortly. So if it's correct, then go to correct answer. So lower down my procedure, I need a little label called correct answer. So I can come down here and place correct answer in. But how does the VBA know that that's not just a variable name as opposed to a label? Simply by placing a colon at the end of it. So your label names pretty much follow the same convention as variable names, no spaces, some punctuation but not a lot, and no number at the beginning, but it has a colon at the end. And you don't need to declare it. That is a label, correct answer. So I can tell my procedure at this point to jump to correct answer, which is here. In the old days of programming, you would have used line numbers and you would have said go to line 42, and this would have been line 42. And at this point, we're going to put a little message box out that says, you're right. Well done, you. However, we haven't finished the procedure much higher up. So if the answer is 42, then we're going to jump down to correct answer. If it's not 42, we won't be jumping down to correct answer. So we can make the assumption that they got the question wrong. You were wrong. Now what we need to do though is actually stop the subroutine once we finish working in this top half, which we do by using exit sub. Otherwise, the subroutine will continue in a linear process and carry on down. Ignoring this label, it will then carry out the well done you as well. So if we don't jump to correct answer and we continue down in a linear stream, we need to at some point jump out of this subroutine, so effectively jump to here. Otherwise, we will continue through the label and continue to do this action as well. Now, they aren't frequently used, this ability to jump up and down within a procedure, because the preference is for a set of flow. And you'll see how we can control that with an if and an end if and using case and loops to make sure that we go through the correct procedure without a need, in essence, to do this jumping to labels. But on occasions, it can be quite useful, as we've demonstrated here. So if we were to run this GOTO test, you were wrong. Because we haven't given any value to my answer, therefore it's not equal to 42. So if we jump back in here and say my answer equals 42, and then run the GOTO test, I end at the well done you. Because coming down the flow, it is equal to 42, therefore we jump to correct answer. If it's not equal to 42, then we get you were wrong, because it comes down the flow. It's now 32, it's not 42, so it carries on, does this message box, and then exits the sub-procedure. So that's using the GOTO to jump to a labeled point elsewhere in the same procedure. What you cannot do is jump out of this procedure into another procedure. You're still stuck in what in essence is this skeleton here, but we can jump up and down within this skeleton if required.